Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, and I'm D-Boy. I'm here for you guys with the deck profile on Dudley's. Some of my friends have requested this deck profile, so I thought why not to show you my build and what I think about the deck. So let's just jump into the deck profile. After that I will tell you my thoughts and show you maybe a small of the biggest combo that you could do with the deck. So starting with the starter, Dudley Little Road. It's pretty good. The skill is you Soul Blast one card with Dudley in its card name. When your Vanguard attacks, you can pay the cost and bind this unit and call it into an open regular circle. If you have two or more Dudleys, give it an extra 3k, which is pretty cool because this would be 8k, and with the big combo, it would attack for 18. And also it is an 8k booster if you want to boost with it, so that's pretty cool. I didn't want to play Mega Trainer because I wanted to keep as much Dudley units in this deck as I can. Going into the grade 3s, playing 4 copies of Jessica, uh, 4 copies of Turboraptor, and 1 Jelly Beans. Jelly Beans has the skill when you can use it from your hand to put it back into your deck, and then you can search your deck for up to 1, create 2 or less deadly card from your deck, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So it's really good to get the right grade 1s, the right grade 2s that you need. That's why you play him. But for people that only want to play 9 grade 3s, I recommend playing these 9. Turboraptor has the skill which is GB1. When a deadly unit is placed into a regular circle, he gets an extra 5k. It's only once per turn, but put him at 16, boosted by anything he could attack for above 21, which is pretty cool. Be a 21 attacker is pretty alright. And also he has the stride skill, which is very important in this deck, especially in the combination that you want to do with Geronimo, which I will show you the combo later on. Whenever a unit from your field, let's say Vanguard, attacks, if it has Dudley in the card name, you can give that unit the extra 5k, and then at the end of the battle it could go into your soul. So he gives everything that attacks an extra 5k, which is really cool, especially in the big combo. As I said, I'll show you later. Then we have Jessica, 4 copies of her as well. She is very good as a defensive card and sometimes even as an extra, let's say, plus that she could give you. When you stride on top of her, if that unit is a deadly, then you can search your deck for up to 1 deadly card and call it into the open regular circle, and they give it an extra 5k. So that's really cool because you can get the right units when you stride into a deadly stride, which is great. And also she has the GB2 skill, which is when you have GB2, give your whole front row an extra 2k. That will put her at 13, and that's really nice, especially against Gear Chronicle Aquaforce that would like to attack you for 11 or 12 multiple times. She'll be at 13 by herself, so that's really cool as a defensive in your opponent's turn. But her stride skill is also great, so yeah. For the grade 2 lineup, it's starting up with my favorite grade 2 of the game, which is Dudley Mason. Dudley Mason doesn't require to be GB1. He works as a Vanguard and as a Rearguard, and when he hits, you can put 1 card from your hand to the soul, counterblast 1, and then you can call something from your deck to an open Rearguard circle. That's a really good skill, especially early game. Also when you go into mid game, he does put a lot of work on pressuring your opponent, betting more units from your deck, especially in this deck because you play 6 draw triggers, and putting the draw triggers from your hand into the soul is really not bad. So yeah, that's why you play 4 copies of Mason. And because it's a Dudley and you don't really have a lot of Dudley cards. Then we play 4 copies of Dudley Ingram. This is the powerhouse. Whenever you call Dudley, he's GB1, you can get him an extra 3k. So sometimes you call up to 3 Dudleys, will give him an extra 9k. He'll be 18k attacker, which is just crazy. Boosted by 7k, that would be let me see, 23, 30. So pretty cool to be able to attack for 30. And then we play 3 copies of Deadly Mountie. He's okay, he's just a 10k base to have when you play against Aquaforce. But also when you have him as a rare guard, it's pretty hard for your opponent to get rid of him. Also, he has the Dudley in the card name, so that's the biggest reason why you play him. For the Grade 1 lineup, started up with 4 copies of the Vanguard, the Unflippers. You could play the Quinton Tool in here, the one from Dudley's, because it has Dudley in the card name and it has a pretty cool skill. Her skill is you soul blast 2 cards with Dudley in the card name and you can guard with the top 7 cards from your deck. Every Dudley that is put into the Guardian Circle get an extra 5k. So normally that would be enough defense, and also all the Dudley cards will go into your soul. So that's also pretty cool, but you don't play her because sometimes you can't afford to lose that much cards from your deck, because you will deck out and you will not have the right units into your deck. So that's why you play Unflippers. But you could play any other Perfect Guard that you want, because this deck is not really counted as heavy. Playing 4 copies of Dudley Jetter. It is a Dudley and it helps you out with striding. His skill is when you have him on the field, he is GB1, so you can't use him on the first time you stride. But if you have a Vanguard with Dudley in his card name, you can retire him and you could just pay for the stride effect with that. So that's really nice, especially for this deck because it does make field advantage, and losing him from the field is really okay. And as I said, he has Dudley in the card name. So 3 copies of Dudley Daisy. I don't like Dudley Phantom, so I don't play it. He goes back to the bottom of the deck after he boosts a unit, and he will be a 10k booster. With Dudley Daisy, she could be in 12k booster by counterblasting 1, or a 12k attacker. So that's really nice because a 12k attacker would make a big difference. And Phantom will be just 6k, so it will be up to 16k, and this card will be up to 22k. So that does make a big difference in my opinion. Also, if she is a 7k, so that is always a better booster than a 6k. And she is a Dudley as well. And then playing 2 copies of the Stridefather. Acrobat Verdi is really cool in here because sometimes you don't want to pitch your grade 3s to stride with, because they have Dudley in the card name, and sometimes you want to switch between different grade 3s. So that's why you play Acrobat. Acrobat is not a Dudley, which sometimes is an issue. But yeah. For the trigger lineup, I'm playing 2 Sonic Break. There is no reason to play Liar Lips in here. Liar Lips is the critical that goes into the soul if you have a Rising Nova Vanguard, but you don't play the Stride and you don't play the grade 3. Then playing 4 copies of Sonic Silent Joker. Silent Joker is perfect for this deck. He goes into the soul, fill up your soul, and also unflip a damage. And it is of course a critical trigger, so that's why you play him. Then 6 straw triggers. This deck does need hand advantage and there is no other way to get that. You could play Gloria if you want to. Gloria has the skill whenever she boosts a unit, you can put that unit back at the bottom of the deck at the end of the battle, and you counterblast 1 to draw a card. So Gloria is cool, but she is not a Dudley, so that's why I don't play her. This card should have been Dudley. The same with this heal trigger should also have been Dudley, but I don't know why Bushido didn't make these Dudleys, because otherwise they would work with the stride skill and with the content wall skill. Going into the strides, playing 4 copies of Geronimo. This is your favorite stride and your big finisher. Play him at 4 because sometimes you use him as your first stride and you want to have him left in your G zone to use him again when you want to. His skill is you counterblast 1, you unflip a copy of himself. If you have GB2, so only himself, If you didn't stride before that or you didn't get a G Guardian, then he only has the skill that when a rearguard attack, that rearguard get an extra 5k and it goes to the bottom of the deck. But if you have GB3, then your rearguard can also attack from the back row. So that's really cool because your boosters could attack and they could get an extra 5k. And if you combine him with Turboraptor, they will be able to get an extra 10k. So that's really cool. Attacking from your field from the back row, getting an extra 10k is really nice. But for the extra 5k that Turboraptor give, you do need to have a unit with Dudley in Scarney, and with him, anything that attack get an extra 5k. So that's his skill is better. But I do understand that they make the deck only work with Dudleys because otherwise you can mix it with the charge units. Playing 2 copies of, I think you pronounce his name as Caligula. I can't pronounce his name. But yeah, Caligula is the newest stride of Dudley's. You can't last 1. Put 2 cards from your hand into the soul, so that's why you need the draw triggers. Then you can look at the top 11 cards from your deck, call up to 3 Dudleys, and give them an extra 2k. The skill is really nice, especially because you can use them as your first stride, but losing 2 cards from your hand is, in my opinion, pretty heavy cost. But yeah, as I said, that's why you play a lot of draw triggers. And it is a Dudley, so he works with Jessica, will give you up to 4 units from your deck, so that's really nice. 2 Dirty Picaro, this is your backup plan. When you go into Geronimo and you can't finish the game, then you don't have any other face-up, any other rearguard on the field. So going into Picaro, you have used Geronimo, so you have 2 face-up units, and before that you also have used something because Geronimo need to be GB3. So you have up to 3 or 4 face-up units in your G-zone. He also unflips 1, so with his skill you'll be able to call 5 or 4 units from your deck. That's really nice for the count last 2 and only 1 card from your hand into the soul. So I do like his skill more than Caligula or Caligula because he costs you 2 cards from your hand and only 1 count blast, and he costs you 2 count blast and only 1 card from your hand. So next I'm playing 2 copies of Bruce. The reason why I play this card is sometimes you play against Link Jokers or let's say Mega Colony, and you don't really want to put too much units on the field. So that's why Bruce is really cool to just pressure them, and when he hits, you can put 1 card from your hand to the soul and you can call something from your deck and gives an extra 5k. So they don't want you to get the extra attack, but at the same time, you yourself don't want to waste any counterblast or call units because you don't really, they will just lock them. Playing 1 Sea Breeze, this deck is not counterblast heavy. And sometimes you do need the Sea Breeze. For the G Guardians, 1 Desmiel, in my opinion, you do need to play at least 1 Desmiel each deck. 1 Screw, the same, also because you have a lot of draw triggers in your hand, then you could just discard 1 to get the extra 10k. Juggernaut Maximum works really cool in this deck, especially if you have a unit on the field which is not Dudley. You can put it back into your deck and get the extra 10k. By his skill, you give 1 of your rearguards an extra 10k, and he gets an extra 10k. But at the end of the turn, the unit that you gave an extra 10k will go back to the deck. So anything that you have on your front row, you don't want your opponent to retire it, or you have which, let's say, anything which is not a Dudley that you want to put back into your deck, you could also use his skill to get rid of and get an extra 10k. So yeah, that's nice. 2 copies of Irie. She is just a normal G Guardian. Doesn't really work really well in this deck because most of the time, when you go into your second turn that you stride, you have a lot of units on the field. So sometimes you have 4, sometimes even 5. And her skill only work if you have a 3 or less. So make sure sometimes to intercept or intercept first and then use her skill, which is really cool because then you could get the extra 5k because you do need 3 or less rearguards. So the deck is really cool in my opinion. It's really refreshing to be able to play a deck of Spike Rulers that is different. This archetype is pretty different from the normal Spike Ruler units or decks. Let me show you the combo that you could do with the deck because it is pretty nice. Let's say you have some of these units on the field, and of course the right grade 3, which is Turboraptor, for your finisher turn. So let's say you have him as a Vanguard and you have these two in your soul. This would be your heart. You would stride into your Geronimo, and before that you have already used another stride. Your starter should not be behind your Vanguard. Let's say you have Daisy behind your Vanguard and Jetter right here. You can't really see the whole field, but it's just to show you the combo. Yeah, this is how your field should look like. You do need to have Literoid not behind your Vanguard because you want to boost with her. So first you attack with the unit behind your Vanguard to have an open space. You use the skill of Geronimo and the skill of Turboraptor to Soul Blast units from your soul and give her an extra 10k, so she will be attacking for 17, and then you could put her back into your deck or put her into your soul. The choice is up to you. Geronimo skill, put her into the deck, and Turboraptor, put her into your soul. If you have less than 1 soul or less than 2 soul, I would put her into the soul. And sometimes there are some units that you want to put back into your deck, so it's up to you. Don't get too much soul because you don't read it. You don't really need it. This is not dark regular, so there is no reason for that. Put the units back into your deck because then you could use it again. Now, your formation would normally look like this, but when I play the deck and I have the option, I will play it like this. The reason for that is it doesn't matter, your units can attack even from the back row. So that's why you put your Dudley Mason and your Ingram in the same column. Then you attack with this column. He will get the extra 10k from him, and you Soul Blast something. So this attack for normally will go for 17, but because you boost the attack, it will go for 22. And then he goes into the soul because you have that less than 2 soul. Now you attack with your Vanguard. Because of that, you could use the skill of your starter to Soul Blast something, and then you combine it and call it back again. This will give you an extra attack, and because you have 2 or more Dudleys on the field, she will also get an extra 3k, will make her an 18k attacker, which is really nice. Now you put the triggers that you have, the power on Mason, and the criticals on Chatter, or Ingram. The reason for that is Ingram will be stronger, but Mason will also provide you with 1 more attack. So that's why you attack first with the one that you have the critical on, because you do just want to hit them, or you attack with Mason. Put him right here. You attack with Mason because it doesn't matter, he could attack from anywhere, but you want to put him in here because sometimes you want to call something here that puts more pressure. Mason attack, he doesn't have the crit, so sometimes they will let this attack go through. If they do so, you could use his skill to call something from your deck and to an open regular circle. So the card that you want to call is normally a Skydiver, but you don't play a Skydiver in here because the Skydiver is not a Dudley. So you will call another Mason. The Mason will go right here, and you will have a strong column right here which will attack for Mason will get an extra 10k, so he's 19, 24. So this would be a 24 column with the power to call something else, or you could just attack with the Mason for 19 and attack for 15 because this would be more. So it depends on the cards that your opponent have in their hand and if they could guard or not. And this attack will go critical most of the time because almost always you will get at least one critical from your drive check. If you do not, then it doesn't matter, but it would be perfect if you have at least one critical. Also now another reason that you could play more criticals in this deck, but I do like the draw triggers because, as I said, the deck doesn't really generate that much hand advantage. So yeah, this was the Dudley deck profile and a small combo that you could make of the deck. There are a lot of different combos that you could play, but the deck needs more Dudley cards. The cards that you could also play in here is Gloria, as I explained, for the more draw power. Phantom is also alright. You have the Quinton's Wall, and there are more Dudley units. Also, you have these two grade 3s that are really cool, Dudley Emperor and Dudley Lucifer. They are alright against the grade 1 or grade 2 decks that want to stay that way, because they have the GB4. You could just use them to be able to do something on your Vanguard turn because your other grade 3s only work with GB1. But yeah, I don't really like them in here because this is not a format that a lot of people are playing the grade 1 and the grade 2 decks, and also because you play your Seabreeze with Seabreeze right where you have at least some GB1s active, so that's alright. Yeah, that's it for the deck. Thanks for watching, guys. Tell me what you think about the deck. Subscribe to our channel, watch our YouTube, our Facebook account. We have a page for you guys to be able to watch our videos. You can also tell us what you want to see next. The same with this deck profile. This is also something that have been requested like 2 or 3 days ago, and I was thinking about doing it, but when one of my friends had requested this, there was more reason for me to do the deck profile. We have a lot of different decks that we could do deck profile on. We are still trying to be able to get the matches right, like which deck against which deck do you want to see next. Some of them are very interesting to watch, like Rising Nova against Victor of Nova Grapplers is one of the matches that we enjoy to play a lot. Me against Tyson, one of my friends. So yeah, tell us what you want to see next, and till next time.